My name is Marci, and this is the first episode of my new YouTube channel, Seize the Veg. So, welcome. I'm starting this channel as a way to help people who are new to plant-based eating. You may find me because you're already vegan and you just looking for some tips and ideas. Most of what I start with is going to be based for someone who's new to this, someone who has never tried this before, maybe is intimidated. Switching to a plant-based diet can be very confusing, overwhelming. There's a lot to it, especially if you come from a standard American diet, which I did. There's a bit of a learning curve. It's not as difficult as you may think. I'm hoping that I'll be able to help you through some of the initial process. I'm not very big on recipes. It's more about having a very well-stocked kitchen, refrigerator, pantry, freezer. We tend to have the hardest time eating right when it's inconvenient to have to cook. So a lot of what I do in my real life every day, because I eat this way every day, every meal, it's quick, it's easy. There are, of course, are wonderful recipes that I hope to share with you in the future. But to begin with, it's going to be mostly about just how to get through every meal, because you got to eat. And this is about how to do that and it not be a stressful thing that you end up giving up on or just get frustrated with, because it can be a very exciting time if you're new to this. A lot of new things to discover. I'll give you a little background on myself. Like I said, my name is Marci. Happily married to my high school sweetheart. We're the proud parents of two beautiful fur babies, Lola and Zoe. You'll meet them. We live in South Florida and are currently in our 5th year on a plant-based diet. This all started back in August of 2015 when I went to a regularly scheduled appointment with my neurologist. At this point, it had been about 7 years since I've been suffering with chronic migraines. I've had migraines my whole life, but back in around 2008, they went bad on me. And at the worst of it, I was having about 22 to 24 days a month with migraine. I didn't lose all of those days, but most days there was at least some level of migraine. The worst of it had me in a dark room, quiet. I'm getting a text message, hold on. Going through all of the different medications that were out there at the time, and there were no specific migraine medications that were available. So it was more other medications, antidepressants, heart medication, I mean, all kinds of different things. I can't even remember. Anti-seizure meds, that was one, that had been found to help with migraines. I had some success with some of them temporarily. Some would have horrible side effects that I just couldn't take. And then over the time, I found Dr. Locatelli, give you a little shout out, down in Fort Lauderdale, and he managed to get me on a cocktail of the different ones that helped prevent a lot of the migraines that I was having. Started giving me a bit of my life back. I was able to start exercising. I started running. Things were looking up. The biggest problem was the side effects that I didn't necessarily feel, but I had to get regular blood work to check my kidneys and my liver. The one medication, especially, I'm having trouble remembering what it was, it gave me hepatitis-like symptoms because of just how the body reacts to it. So I was having to get blood work every 3 months just to make sure that, my organs were still functioning properly. And, even though I was making a lot of headway living with way less migraines, I knew deep down that there was a problem, because that's a lot of medication. And if you're having to get blood work done all the time, it just can't be good long term. So on this visit with Dr. Locatelli, when I got there, he told me he had a new prescription for me, which of course at this point, I'm like, I'm already taking 3 plus the abortive medication that I have to take when I do have another migraine. So having a new prescription, I was like, what now? I kind of feel like we're in a pretty good place. I know it's not perfect, but I'm getting my life back. So here's the prescription. I kept it. It's been 5 years. So I still have it. It's here, my whole food plant-based diet. And of course, I'm looking at him, really, what are we doing? What is this? And he gave me the spiel about the research he'd been doing, and I wasn't the only patient of his that was having to take a lot of medications. That wasn't ideal. It wasn't necessarily good for our bodies long term. So he'd been doing research, there were some health problems in his own family, and had come across these forks over knives guys and met them, went to a conference. I mean, it was a lot of stuff. He gave me a very compelling argument, which was necessary because I was not on board with this in the beginning. I was like, I've already given up so much. Most of my everyday life is spent on routines and making sure I sleep when I'm supposed to, and I wake up at the same time, and I don't drink red wine, I don't go to loud parties, I never go to a concert. I mean, so much of my life was spent on how to prevent migraines. So he gives me this and gives me a very compelling argument, so much so that on the drive home, I made the decision then and there to give this an honest effort. That I knew I needed something better than what I was doing, even though I finally was starting to feel good for the first time in several years. And I was going to stay on the medication, and of course he was going to see me again in 3 months because I had to get more blood work done anyway. So I was like, you know what, give it the 3 months till you see him again. Do it. Now, I had a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich for breakfast before going to my appointment that morning. And on the drive home, I'm thinking, wow, everything I just ate is now off limits. So one more little background thing on me. I am a trained chef. I went to Lake Cordon Bleu in Orlando and was working in the industry before my life kind of took a sideways turn. And so I'm good in the kitchen. I've got a very well-stocked kitchen, and I was thinking, well, all right, so everything I just had for breakfast I can't have again, but surely I have some stuff. And got home and went to work immediately in my kitchen. Spent about 45 minutes going through my refrigerator, my pantry, even my freezer, looking at labels. And part of this, which I'm going to put on my website so you can see everything it says on here. This is a very strict version of whole food plant-based, and it was coming from the doctor. I have since modified some of this, especially avocados, nuts. Though, I mean, I love guacamole, and it's plant-based, and I know that I can have it and it doesn't affect me. But like I said, in the beginning, this was medical reasons, very strict diet. And I did follow it for a while and eventually added things back in to make sure that it didn't hurt me and I could handle it. And thankfully I can. I love me some guacamole. Anyway, so I go to work in my kitchen and spent quite a while looking through everything. I'll show you. My beautiful refrigerator now is a far cry from what I came home to that day. Everything in here is now safe, and I can grab anything and make myself a meal. I'm good to go. On that particular day, I couldn't even make myself a salad because my salad dressing had cheese in it. So much of everything else that I had, I mean, it was dairy and eggs and everything. You may be having the same issue yourself right now. I did, however, was pleasantly surprised that bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich that I had that morning was on bread that didn't have dairy. Check your labels. It's always listed as an allergen, first of all, so you'll see bold writing on there. That's a big deal. My first vegan meal. Peanut butter. Guess what? Although it wasn't on his list because he told me to avoid nuts, girls gotta eat, so peanut butter. And of course, what goes with peanut butter? Jelly! This one, luckily, has no added sugar. I'm pretty sure the one that day had added sugar. I watched that now. I checked labels. Very important. Made myself peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Whole, but wait. Banana. Banana slices on top of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Not gonna lie, to this day, it's still a go-to for me when I'm really pressed for time, just hungry, gotta eat. Here you go. So there's that. Was very satisfied. I felt good, kind of proud of myself. And then my husband came home, and God love him, he's been a wonderful support for me all these years. When in the darkest days, he stood by me. We've had some pretty rough years, especially before I found Dr. Locatelli and got into a pretty good routine with my medication. And told him that I was going vegan, which, even though it's got 5 letters, could have just had 4, because but he was not thrilled. And I kept and showed him, this is what Dr. Locatelli gave me. And of course, he's very skeptical at this point, because there's been times where I've changed our diet to get healthier and healthier. I took out a lot of red meat. We ate mostly chicken and fish and stuff like that. And he's like, I don't see what's wrong with how we eat now. And it's like, well, I really want to give this a try. Dr. Locatelli was very convincing. Can I try it? And he sat there, and bless his heart, he told me at that point, he said, I'll do this with you at home. He said, whatever you cook, whatever you make, I'm not going to ask you to also make me something else on the side. He said, I'll eat with you, but if we go out or I'm out on my own, I'm going to eat what I want. And I was like, thank you. It's perfectly fair, because this is about, a problem that I have specifically. So that's how that went. And he, that was August, like I said, and he stood by it. He ate whatever I made, and he started going on to places like Pinterest and the website to find some recipes for us that ended up being great. He makes a killer sweet potato barbecue, which I'm going to get him to share at some point on this channel. It's delicious, and he made it, and it was very happy and satisfied. Couldn't stop telling people about it. You wouldn't believe the sweet potato barbecue, how delicious it can be. And I'll tell you, we watched the Forks Over Knives documentary. Dr. Locatelli recommended it, and I watched it, and it was also very compelling and kind of reinforced a lot of what he had told me and gave me hope that maybe this would be something. And we did watch several other documentaries. Netflix had a bunch of them, and now there's even more. I know at the time of filming this right now, Game Changers came out about a month ago, I think, and I already know a few people who have decided to make the switch just from watching that, which is just amazing. Very exciting. Anyway, you may already guess, since it has been 5 years and I'm doing this because I'm so excited and happy about it, that it was successful in helping me with my migraines. I would love to tell you that I'm cured. That would not be true. Full disclosure, I am off of all of those prescription medications. I came off them slowly, one at a time, and my cholesterol plummeted to in the 140s and 150s, which to me is just amazing. That happened. My very next blood draw went to 155 3 months later. I will say, if you have the opportunity, if you're new at starting this or whatever, and you can get your blood drawn before you start or early in the process, do it. And that way you'll have hard numbers to know, wow, this really did something. If you need that. I don't think you will, because like I said, my husband did that in August with me. He started, and by October he came home and told me, we're going to do this. I'm doing it with you. And I was just like, well, you already are, aren't you? And he's like, no, I'm doing it all the time. I feel so much better after I eat several meals with you, and then I go out and I eat this other food and I don't feel good. And I can tell immediately. And I was thrilled and shocked. And that was October. So within a few months, he could already tell the difference in how he felt. So like I said, for myself, this is the best thing that has given me a fighting chance to deal with my broken brain. These migraines, it sends signals out, knocks me down. It still happens, but I recover so much faster. They're way less frequent than they were. And there's no way I see ever going back, because it has given me my life back. And I'm not taking any pills. I still have my abortive medication that I need on occasion, but my sleep is better, my stress level's lower, I feel better, I'm stronger. I'm still running, working on endurance. It's amazing, and there's no reason I would go back. So I like to thank everyone in my social group who has converted, or who at least humors my vegan meals. When I invite you over, it's going to be vegan, and thank you for humoring me when you come over. I hope you enjoy them. And for my family and my friends, everyone who supported this along the way, I hope that you know it has made a difference for me to have the support in trying something like this, and not just roll your eyes and be like, okay, yeah, she's vegan, because it's made a difference, and it can make a difference for other people. I know for a fact other friends of mine, it has made a difference in different ways. We all have something in our lives, and I look at a plant-based diet as giving this wonderful racing car, this luxury vehicle that you've been given, that you're born with, and giving it the best fuel possible so it can perform. It's not everything. Sleep and exercise and stress, there's so many other parts to our lives that that will affect our health. However, giving yourself this type of fuel and putting yourself out into the world that you have to face, and giving yourself the best fighting chance to make the best of it. And that's how I look at this, that food is fuel. There's a quote from one of the documentaries that I watched, "Let food be thy medicine." I totally believe that. It's a huge contributing factor to the life that I now have. So in the future, the next several episodes, this has gotten long, the next several episodes are going to be how to read labels so that you can make sure when you're at the store, you flip the stuff over. Grocery shopping in the beginning can be a challenge, can be very intimidating. These stores are huge, thousands of options. Treat it like a scavenger hunt the first few times. I mean, give yourself, block out some time that you're going to be in there, you're going to do this, because you're going to be spending more time looking at nutrition labels. It gets easier, I promise. There's that, and then I'm going to be giving you the staples that I have in my kitchen at all times, so that at any time when I come in and it's like, oh, we're starving, we've been working in the yard or whatever, we've been out and about, life has happened, we're home, we're hungry. Most of the beginning episodes of what I'm going to be doing are those types of meals where it's like, you got to eat, how to make good choices, how to set yourself up for success with your refrigerator, with your pantry, with your freezer, some of the different tricks that I have for really fast meals. Some, most of them are going to be under 30-minute preparation, into your kitchen, eating in 30. It's how most of our life is. So that's going to be a lot of the episodes coming up. Enjoy. I leave you with this in my vegan kitchen. Seize the veg and enjoy my leftovers. Thank you. Okay, anyway, I put that on Do Not Disturb. You want to come inside? There she is. Okay, good girl. All right, so he was outside. Now she's back. Anyway, my dog Zoe, hold on. I'm gonna shift this a little. Everything. I do want to say a quick thank you to my friend Jeff, who's the one that suggested I start this channel in the first place. Good idea. I think that this maybe can be something. There's that leftover vegan food is the best, so enjoy.